we'll have 40 minutes. First of all, I'm wearing this dress as Vinish very kindly pointed out. Today is Onam. Today is also Telugu Bhasha Day. Today is also National Sports Day. So all these put together, there are some very interesting thoughts coming to my mind. Yeah. Can all of you put off your mobiles for a few minutes, please? We hope to make the next 40 minutes interesting. The best thing about the Chandrayaan launch was the chairman of ISRO is an MMT. Famously said by Sekhar Gupta and HMT, Hindi medium types, Dr. Somnath is MMT, Malayalam medium types. And so will India develop when the Tamil, Oriya, Malayalam, Gujarati, Manipuri types take over what it is. They wouldn't bother about their posh Delhi accents. I'm talking to Delhites. I'm being blunt with it. India will develop when you have a Dhoni as a ticket collector coming from Ranchi, when you have a Mohammad Shami from Srirampur leading India. Along with Chandrayaan, we have a Neeraj Chopra being there, supporting everyone and still being humble about being the world champion. In fact, he says it's even more difficult than participating in the Olympics. Along with that, let us also remember what has happened in Muzaffarpur. Let us also talk about the Dalit cook who served food for the midday meal scheme in Tamil Nadu. India's highest number of graduates come from Tamil Nadu. 40 students, 23 of them are taking TCs because they do not want to be served by a Dalit person. So as we discuss emerging India, G20 India, optimistic India, I'm a soldier as also a teacher. By definition, we are supposed to be optimistic. But let's be balanced in our perspectives and outlooks rather than go overboard with it. We want India to succeed. We are part of it. With these words, let's have a quick round of introductions of all our panelists with the lady. It's rare that we have a panel discussion on school education with only one lady, because here the men are the endangered species. You as ma'am, talk about your school and the one thing you do best. Yeah.
Afternoon, I think.
Not yet afternoon.
Not yet afternoon. Good afternoon, good morning, and thank you, Business World Education and Colonel Sekhar for taking us on to this, and I'm very happy to be here. I come from, I would say, rural area, which is in Madhya Pradesh near Indore, but it's also the army hub. I'm an army wife too, so on this panel we have 3 army people sitting here. So, like Colonel Sekhar said, we are the ones who actually want peace everywhere. And I started my school called Colonel's Academy 28 years back. I'm the founder, and I had been a principal there, and now I'm the chairperson. The school is very inclusive.
Inclusive is the term.
Yeah,
we'll go to somebody from the northeast.
Good morning. I am Brigadier Jacob. I come from a school, Tashi Namgyal Academy. It is one of the most unique schools because this is just about the only school which is owned by the government of Sikkim, but run completely autonomously, and absolutely. And we have a very sizable social responsibility in which approximately 8% of our students are funded by the school, the students who are otherwise not from the below economic level, below poverty level. And it is exclusively to Sikkim, and we cater to a large population of Sikkim.
Wonderful, sir. Over to you, Dr. Arun Prakash. Shall we call you the founder, Dr. Arun Prakash? You seem to be creating schools everywhere. And where are you now, and what is the uniqueness of your school?
Sir, I have been founder principal of 80 schools, including 5 DPS in India and abroad. And after founding 8 school, I thought there should be my own school where I can do whatever I want to, which I could not do in some other school. So I am running my own school in Allahabad, and only aim in my education for children is that they should be happy and they should enjoy. If they can be happy and enjoy education, schooling, I think learning will take automatically.
Wonderful.
And that's what we are doing.
Yes. Over to you, Ayush, the youngest man and the smartest man in the panel. He belongs to Jaipur with over 35 universities. What do you do for a living?
Thank you. I don't know about being the wisest, but I guess I am the youngest over here. So my name is Ayush. I am the director of Jayshree Periwal International School. It's an IB school and also the largest international school in India. And the one thing I think we can be proud of at our school is that we teach students to embrace failure.
Teach students to embrace failure. Wonderful. That's a very good thing for all of us to think and have. We'll go forward with the discussion first. Ma'am, the topic. What are we talking about? Flipped classroom, Salman Khan, all of it. What do you make of this? What do you make of this in the real sense?
We are here to talk about the blended education, flipped classroom and hybrid classroom. But how we are here, first I would like to speak about that. That after so many changes taking place around us in the landscape of education world in India, so we are into something when we are talking about machine learning, we are talking about AI, we are talking about flipped classroom, blended classroom, what we are talking about just now. I think it's all due to NEP 2020, which was much awaited and required, which we waited for a long time, that the change in our education system. And when we talk about blended education, I think most of you know what is blended education. Blended education is something where we blend, like...
No, ma'am. NEP and NCF has come.
Yes.
How has it impacted you in about 30 seconds?
All right. So I feel as an educationist with 36 years of experience in this, as a teacher, as a school leader, as a mentor to teachers, I think we are at a cusp right now where the change is taking place in the education world in India. And I feel very happy and privileged, all of us, that we are part of the history being made.
Part of history being made. To Sikkim, a 1972 Chogyal handed over state. How do you look at it from that neck of the woods, and how do you see NEP, NCF impacting your school, sir?
Okay, we are from a very traditional state. It's quite cut off in the mainland, and consequently, Sikkim, the environment, academic environment among the social circle is something which is around 15 to 20 years behind the rest of India, which means today everyone strives to be a doctor or an engineer and nothing else. Now, both NEP as well as NCF has brought in a big challenge because, you know, the society is not ready to accept it. For example, when we talk about experiential education, the parents are more worried. He says, what is this? My God, my child does not have any homework. My child is required to go to that place to learn, to the arboretum to learn about plants. Or why is he going to the ICR setup to learn about agriculture? But the society is not yet ready to take it on. And that is the biggest challenge. And consequently, the teachers, the training teachers, etc. is just not working out. And the last bit is, so we are starting off at the primary level. That's where we are trying to bring the change to ensure NEP is implemented.
Starting off at the primary level, that's the change which is happening. Yes, Arun's founder principle. You are a startup guy. Now, what is your picture? One is about optimism, the other one is about the challenges. Where you are, how do you make the children happier than what they are today?
Sir, I feel that we should stop teaching and give opportunity for children to learning. At this moment, our focus is more on teaching, giving them information as much as possible, and parents and teachers believe that we have to feed children. I think time has gone, and whole NEP says now that children should be encouraged to learn find out their own. And the topic that we are talking about today, teacher is not the only source of knowledge. I think teacher is the last, as far as knowledge provider is concerned, from the internet to all possible means, there is lot of knowledge available. So our role, and that what we are doing, that giving opportunity children to come forward.
Children to come forward. Yes.
And enjoy.
Enjoy. Now we'll go further. The initial remarks are going, but I'll pick up from the failure part. How yours is a known brand. How do you incorporate the understanding of failure in a system which only demands marks, and rote learning? And how do we go to IIT, IIM, etc.?
So I'll just begin with an example. This has happened at Stanford University years back. There were two groups, one of Stanford lawyers, doctors, entrepreneurs, and the other group was kindergarten children.
Yeah.
They were all given the same material, marshmallow, spaghetti sticks, tape, etc. Both groups were asked for a simple question: make the tallest tower possible. You know, I'm sure all of you are guessing
Yes.
why I'm sharing the story is that the kindergarten group built a taller tower than the bankers and lawyers and medical professionals. Because right from the Industrial Revolution is when this concept of rote learning, be given orders, what you need to do is what you need to do. And that's how the education system has been, not just in India, but across the world for a very long period of time in that way. So when we allow children the idea of exploration, there will be failure, but that failure will eventually lead to tall spaghetti towers as well as the Chandrayans in 1% of the NASA budget. So we are always trying to tell our student and parent body that it's not just about getting to an IIT or getting to a university, but about success in life. And that will come when we learn how to experiment, learn how to explore, and learn how to fail.
Yes. Learn, explore, and fail. It's interesting to know less than 2% of ISRO is manned by IITians. Most of them are from tier 2, tier 3 universities. And the key to what ISRO has done started out with Vikram Sarabhai, Satish Dhawan. Whenever there is a failure, the chairman takes the press conference. Whenever there is a success, it is those who have led the missions otherwise that take up. It's been put in place by no less than Professor Satish Dhawan and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Now, let's come to the second part of our discussion in all of this. We have had COVID-19, madam, and we have had issues coming up. We have had huge learning gaps in the system. We are now trying to get students. They have gone from the ground floor to the third floor without seeing first or second floor. How does this blended flipped learning format get you into it in a better manner? With obvious, our higher education colleagues are all driving hard on technology. How do you do it in your school?
So, although we are at a rural area, like I said, and lot of children, when I say inclusive, that means I have students who come from army backgrounds, army officers' children. I have children who are first-time learners, farmers' children, shopkeepers, small businessmen, because my place is a very small place, and the children have not the parents have not gone to school. They don't even understand what is the difference between a CBSE school or a state board school. So what my contribution, my school's contribution has been first to make the parents aware of a good quality of education. So coming to the question that Sekhar has asked me. So when the COVID-19 happened, I think we were the first school who just took charge, and we took the Google platform, and there were children who were not having access to the digital tools and things like that. So we made a WhatsApp group, because these days everybody has a mobile and everybody has WhatsApp. So first we made that, and then slowly and steadily we taught the children. My teachers, I think they are the ones who I would say COVID warriors, who just stood up, and they are the ones who took charge. So it was very for us, although the children needed a lot of children needed the emotional support also, because there was fear and everybody was very scared what's going to happen. And especially in the place where I am right now, it was we had to support children in every aspect.
Support children in every aspect. Coming to you, Dr. Prakash. We have all overhyped technology. We have said that we have done everything. But studies on ground, studies by Azim Premji, studies, anecdotal data from us, we know there are huge learning gaps. Are we overdoing technology? And are we now living in a room where we know our children are not doing as well, but CBSE and ICSE records show that they are scoring 120 out of 100?
Thank you, sir. You have touched the right point. And pandemic has been very, very difficult for the humankind, mankind. Worst affected by education. But I think the worst thing which has come because of pandemic is over dependence on technology. Now no child studies, no child make notes. They say that we are reading through mobile and videos. Most of the children are now reading through mobiles and videos. They go to one school, to one tuition, to one coaching, and hardly self-study is available with them. That's one part. Second part, in the wave of today's technology, how much information is available, how much authentic, how much children should access, how much they should not access. It's just like leaving children in jungle and they say, now you live your life, your own, and when they're all around, there are tigers and there are things. So I feel technology should be used, but more wisely, more with caution, more with rules and regulations, and children should be allowed to study, self-study also, not only
self-study also, less of technology. What you have been there, sir, for now quite a while, 5 years. The adult education, or rather the higher education, deals with adults. We have children from 3 to 18 in our schools. With technology coming in such a big manner, what are the challenges you face as a school leader?
Okay, like Dr. Arun said, the attention span of a child has dropped immensely. Now, here is what one of those things, the flipped education actually works. This has been the system in the army. While I was in the army, I was in the faculty in staff college where the entire discussions, the studies take place in the flipped education, where the material is given to the individual and everyone is comes prepared for something. So in schools, this is one technique which can be utilized to kind of enhance the performance, which means, the knowledge is available as brought out. You have to specifically task a group by saying, look, this is what you can come prepared for the next day. He comes prepared because the knowledge is available and they come to a better, healthy discussion. And that is just about the only way that we found to keep the children occupied in learning. The only challenge is the teachers. Now, a large number of teachers are from the old school, even people like us. You require a certain amount of mental mobility wherein a child is coming to the class and teaching the class something which sometimes even the teacher does not know. It requires a switch of ability, switch of attitude towards children. But I think for the future, the flipped education is something which will go a long way.
Flipped education will go a long way. Fair enough point. Ayush, the question for you is, we are talking about hybrid, flipped, face-to-face, etc. We did a small experiment. There was a class which I took face-to-face. There was a class which was delayed. It was recorded and given. There was a class where I was sitting in another room and they were listening to me. All three groups of teachers had very different experiences and understandings. So are we coming to a world where we require different types of teachers to understand the modern learner?
I think much like students, even teachers need project-based learning before they teach. So what I have seen successful, at least with us, whether it was during the pandemic or even after, where we have to, shut off school or do weekend sessions, whether it's with students or teachers, unless there's a project-oriented platform or template where students or teachers have to create something at the end of the day, get in discussions with each other, whether it's going to be on breakout rooms in Zoom or in person, the real magic only happens during those conversations and discussions. And one more thing I'll probably scale back to, it's often not the earthquake, but the aftershocks after that are very detrimental. And same with COVID, I'm actually a firm believer of technology. I think it fast-paced technology in a great way. I'm not so much in belief of so many rules and regulations because I don't think we'll be able to win those battles with students or with anyone else. But I do think the emotional maturity of students has scaled down tremendously. They have become a lot more fragile. When there's a big challenge in front of them, it's easy for them to say, we are exhausted or tapped out. And that's the same story that continues, and it's becoming a vicious cycle and something that needs addressing. Whether it's going to be via flipped classrooms or discussions or counseling sessions, I don't have the right answer, but it's definitely a concern for me.
Great. I do not have the right answer. You have identified a problem. Dr. Prakash, the same point in a different manner. Let's identify two schools in Delhi only. One school is an elite school. They move in air-conditioned buses. They go to, say, Najafgarh, which is the hometown of Virendra Sehwag. There is a corporation school, or Delhi Municipal Corporation. 2 buses go. They go in a normal bus. They reach Najafgarh. On their way back, there is rain. The roads are stuck about 5 kilometers away. The municipal corporation students get down, listen to their teachers, and go home. The elite school, the parents do a dharna in front of the police commissioner's office. Which is the better school?
Sir, a school is better only when it is for children. Unfortunately, schools are not made for children. This is a hard reality. Once a school will start working for school children, once they will be on priority, then nothing will be problem. I mean, the bus also teaching can happen. In the same bus, children can enjoy so much that there will be a lifetime experience.
I'm hinting at parents, sir.
Sir.
Parents sometimes like to run schools. I don't know about colleges.
Yes.
They definitely believe that they know better than the teachers and the principal. The parents want to run schools, especially in places like Delhi.
Okay.
How do you manage that?
Sir, I'll give one incident. Someone came and arguing a lot about things about that and why are you doing this, why are you doing. Finally, I was little angry. I said, I want to save your child from you.
I want to save your child from you.
I want to save your child from your enthusiastic parents who have got money. They think they have got everything of the world. I think that's the biggest problem for us as educators also.
Wonderful. Right. So,
and that's why, sir, that's why I started my own school where I can do whatever you want.
whatever you want. Right. Socio-emotional, cultural learning is more for the parents than the students themselves because they copy what the parents do. In terms of, in how many houses have we seen children with mobiles, less than a year old, fiddling with it when the mother is doing something else? And the second thing which we understood when we did a survey of well over 1,000 students, over 400 children below grade 5 said that in our next janam, we want to be our mother's mobiles. It's well worth thinking where technology is taking us. Yes, sir. For you, from a northeastern perspective, you have been there, you've come over from mainstream India, gone over there. What are the fallacies we believe which do not work there in Northeast India, Sikkim?
Okay, one fundamental aspect is that deep desire to remain where they are. For example, I was just discussing earlier, our school has got a 0% attrition for teachers. Very qualified people who can possibly earn much, much more if they move elsewhere. But 0% desire to move out of that place. And that is just not about the teachers, it is about the children. Children, when they grow up, they want to remain there. They don't want to kind of, go out to in Bombay, Bangalore.
Sir, I flipped this question. Sorry to interrupt you.
No problem.
Isn't it because that they are comfortable, they are peaceful, they are happy, which is what Dr. Prakash wants?
Exactly. So that's the point. So, we tend to kind of push them to do things the way the bulk of India thinks. So I think there is a lot of opportunities for people to give them that kind of growth in those places. For example, in a state like Sikkim, which doesn't have much scope for industries, they have very, very soft industries like we have, watch factories, we have drugs being manufactured, Cipla, Sun, all of them have their factories there, where people come not looking at very high-end jobs, not looking at very high-paying jobs. So that for the focus of the schools, the focus of education there cannot be so deep thinking and kind of large thinking as what we say, entrepreneurship, stuff like that doesn't really make sense to them. I think that is one of the basic differences. Mind you, there are people from there doing very well elsewhere and seeking out things, but bulk are very conservative and laid back when it comes to things.
Is it
But
conservative, laid back, or comfortable and happy?
yeah, so they're quite satisfied. Lesser number of heart attacks, lesser number of lifestyle diseases. I mean, you can take any yardstick to come out to a conclusion, but I think they're very contented with life in many ways than we are.
Is life in Sikkim the key to your fitness, sir?
Maybe. My BP has dropped by 10 points.
10
actually,
points. Okay.
actually it has dropped.
We come to Jaipur, one of the hottest cities around. What is the biggest challenge facing you as a school leader?
As I said, I already mentioned about emotional fragility with students, and I think
With teachers.
with teachers, I probably come from a relatively privileged background where we have an international school. We have a lot of teachers who are ready to unlearn. But if I look at the larger scheme of things that happen in tier 2 cities like Jaipur, it is the unlearning bit with teachers that is very, very difficult and challenging for schools to kind of monitor and moderate.
Monitor and moderate. You are made the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, ma'am. What is the one change you would like to bring in the education space?
I would like to just connect with what Mr. Arun, Dr. Prakash said. That I also started my school because I wanted to do my way. So I also started the school because when I wanted to see the way I perceived the children to be brought up. So,
what's your perception?
Talking about parents, when we were talking
yes.
about parents. So it's, the biggest challenge is to convince the parents about something that you want them to do. Like you said, you wanted to save the child from the parent. So a similar thing happened last week in my school where the children were using two-wheelers without wearing the helmet or having the license. So the principal stood at the gate in the morning and said, no child will enter the school campus without the helmet or without the driving license. So these old parents, they have access to my phone. So they called me, one of the parents called me, why are you making such strict rules? Yes. Our children have to come to school and they are under 18, so they cannot even get the license to drive. So it was, and the parent was very agitated and arguing at the gate. So dealing with this. So what I told them was that if you are not worried about your child's security, we are.
Yes.
And we have to make sure and educate the children that they are not driving, they are not breaking any rules. Tomorrow, if the policeman catches them, they will go behind bars. Who will be responsible?
Absolutely,
you
ma'am.
will be responsible.
They are not adults. We should understand that part.
So the parent had to be. So when we are right, I think the parents, after some time, do understand, although it takes a lot of effort.
Takes a lot of effort, ma'am.
A lot of effort to convince them that whenever I'm taking parents workshops, so I always draw a triangle and say, the child is in the middle and the teachers, the parents and the school management, we make a triangle.
Yes,
and that is how we are protecting the child who is the center.
Yes,
so this is what we need to tell the parents, that we are for the children and we are not against the children.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, just interesting enough, there was a parent who bought a motorcycle for the child. He was a police officer. Why was a motorcycle given? Because the son went to the mother and cut his own hand because he was in college, because he wanted a motorcycle. The motorcycle was bought, given to him. His younger brother used it, had an accident. The child was in coma. The father had to come all the way from Saudi Arabia to deal with it. The challenges are enormous in terms of now children dictating things to the parents.
Yes,
I'll-
peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Peer
I'll stop you here, ma'am. We have 10 minutes to go.
Okay.
Audience questions, if we have any. I can see Manjula Shroff there, ready looking at me. How quickly are you going to finish your panel? Any questions from the audience before I go to the last round? Anyone there? Oh, yes, please. You can shoot. Yeah, they are teachers. Are they paid enough? Are they trained enough? What's your question?
My point is both.
Oh, your point is both. Yes, the richest man, Ayush.
So I think today a teacher's role is not just to have subject knowledge, but to kind of be a wellness
But she's only
counselor.
asking about money.
I-
Are you paying them? Are you training them enough? with
I
your
think we're
money?
training them a
Are
lot
you thinking
within
or
my
are you
school.
doing it
No,
in-
we are doing
We are
it.
doing
As I said, we are focusing a lot
Yeah.
on the counseling
Are you
bit.
paying them enough?
I think so too.
That too quite regularly.
Very regularly.
No. This seems to be a loaded question. What is this regular, irregular thing? Explain better.
Because, in this technological world, everything is changing very fast. So, whether the teachers are aware of those things or not, this is
Fair enough. I think you have answered. Yes, Dr. Prakash. You both own schools. Are you spending your own money at training them? Are you paying them 10th pay commission salaries?
Sir,
Yeah,
we
ten-
want to pay 100th pay commission salary, but unable to.
Unable to. Fair enough.
Because that's reason.
That's the reason. No, that's also interesting. Parents want to pay 101 rupees as fees every year as a matter of great gift. They will pay more in Tirupati Hundi. That's a different story. Teachers want 10th pay commission salaries. And entrepreneurs or school leaders want to make reasonable returns on investment. They have to pay the damn banker who is standing there for the loans. How do you manage it?
It's a very difficult situation, especially after pandemic, because parents were not ready to pay the fees, saying that children are not coming to school. Why should we pay?
Yeah, it's a question,
that
ma'am.
was-
1 second, ma'am. To the university people, did you cut down your fees during pandemic? No. And I've been asking this question every time. Why do only schools have to cut down on fees where colleges don't? And this is something which has always bothered me. I have been in panels where I have moderated discussions. All college leaders, university leaders say we've not reduced a single paisa. But if the schools don't reduce it, then whichever way it is, Lord Yama will come down and tell you, please reduce it. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely right, because there was so much pressure from the government also, and the parents were doing dharnas all over. Why should we pay? Why should we pay? But without realizing that the teachers were working overtime, because it was not easy for them to take online classes, because they had homes to manage, they had children to manage, and plus learning how to teach online. And then two, they had to be fully prepared, because parents are sitting with the children and watching each and every mom.
Yes, ma'am.
One mistake teacher makes was blown up.
Right.
So-
no, yeah, I get a sense that blended hybrid learning is being contextualized here. We have to understand in the school scholastic space, the applicability of hybrid blended learning has to be relatively limited. But I will also ask this question, would you go to a dentist who has learned online how to do root canal? Would you go to an engineer who knows how to build a bridge online or how to do an open heart surgery online? Use of it is important, but we'll have to go further. Any other question? Thank you for your question, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to say that I think the kind of schools that the elder panel is working with are all very different. And my understanding is that every school's need is unique. So while I do believe that there is no getting away from technology, that is the way the world is going. And yes, we don't want children to be overly indulgent we are worried about, them not taking notes, because that is also part of the learning process. We know technology is here to stay. So as schools, are we able to invest enough in our teachers so that they know how to guide the students to use technology effectively? And while we have no control of the parents, everything comes down to monetary. So I'm just going back a little bit to the finances. Professional development, teacher training costs money. So how do you bridge the gap?
1 second. Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
It's a summary of a question. Money, profession development, how do we get them ahead? Investment in technology.
Okay, ma'am. I'm a little lucky. I have a government-owned school, no return of investment really required. But coming to your question, I think the whole essence is to convince the parents that what the money they're putting in is going to make a difference. Now that is a tricky thing, but it is possible. We managed it in our time to make investments in other things. And coming to the question of training the teachers, you require money, but you also can economize it on tremendously. The easiest way I found is, in your school, you have a set of teachers who are able to train others.
Yeah.
And it is you invest in their training or their exposure, they're able to contribute much more to the teachers, and they're more readily acceptable to the fellow teachers when it comes to training them. So 2 ways of handling the situation.
Yes, but he's also
Thank
lucky
you.
he doesn't have attrition. The moment you train a teacher, he or she is doing well, she moves away faster than the speed of light. How do you do it, Ayush?
So I think it's a great question. You're talking about, different resources at different schools. But I'll take Chandrayaan 3's example again. I think we all can be innovative frugally. So depending on what our needs are, especially when it comes to technological training, there are so many tools available at absolutely no cost. But someone from the head management, senior leadership needs to invest that time into finding those tools. At our schools, all our senior leaders had to become great technology trainers themselves first before the training was forwarded to others. So I think once you have a strong base, it gets easier.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have 30 seconds. We'll have a last round of questions. 5 years from now, where will your school be?
5 years from now, I think we will be busy implementing the NEP and the NCF pretty well. It has got a lot of scope.
Lot of scope for that. How many more schools will you find or will you become founder principal of in the next 25 years? Where will your school be in 2047?
At least 25 more.
25 more. Where will your school be in 2047?
A school will be producing children who will be confident to take any challenge of the future, whatever comes, and they'll be equipped to deal with the situations.
If you are made to restart the whole business of education from scratch, what are the 3 things which you will redo yourself?
Focus a lot more on things like discipline, diligence, and make students believe in their dreams.
Make students believe in their dreams. The same question for you, different, ma'am. 10 years from now, where will your school be?
Well, I see my school, I won't say that there will be drastic changes, but of course, with NEP and CF and all, I think my children will be contributing a lot towards society and the nation, which will be very progressive, and the children will be self-reliant and maybe doing research and, like they say, Chandrayaan 3 and then Surya, and maybe they will find something much more to take
Yes.
our country to a different level.
Yeah. Great way to end the discussion. The summary is AI is coming in. Blended and flipped learning will be more important than we perceive and imagine. Teachers will become less of teachers, more learning curators. But remember, students in our schools today, I'm not talking about colleges, in our schools today will see the 22nd century. We will not. Are we listening to them enough in terms of what our schools should be? Which way would our schools go? Secondly, the teacher of the year, Captain Mulligan, spoke in simple terms, what have you achieved in 2009? He was told the answer was, I have saved lives of 15 black Americans who were about to commit suicide. Social, emotional, cultural learning in a postmodern India becomes more important than ever. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you
for
so
your
much.
time. Thank you, audience, for your time.